welcome everyone to the Kubeflow community call for January 14th, 2025. I want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and it is covered by the CNCF Code of Conduct. I'm just going to review that before we start. Again, the Code of Conduct, as it's listed up here, is it's demonstrating empathy and kindness towards other people. Maybe also to AI bots. I don't know. We'll have to start to think about that. Being respectful of differing opinions, viewpoints, and experiences. Giving and gracefully accepting constructive feedback, accepting responsibility and apologizing to those affected by our mistakes, and learning from the experience, focusing on what is best, not just for us as individuals, but for the overall community, and using welcoming and inclusive language. So I think that's a good code of conduct. It's something that we should think about. And as we go forward on this meeting today, we have a pretty good, pretty full agenda, starting with the release update on 1.10, and I'll hand this over to the release team to work through the update. Thank you. Oh, let me stop sharing.
Perfect. Let me see if I can share now. Okay, can you see? You should see a status release 1.10.
We can see.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. I'm Valentina, part of the release management team with Ricardo, and this is the status of the release 1.10. So yesterday we have our release meeting with all the working groups liaison. So yeah, we were, create the slides just to provide more information and provide more visualization on the topics. But also I want to take this moment. We are very grateful of the team that has been contributed to this release. It's not done yet, of course, but we wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you to everyone who is listed here, who has been contributed and joining our meetings every week. So thank you so much for that. Right now, what I have here is we created the components that will be part of the Kubeflow 1.10, the status and the version that will be released, but as well as the roadmap. So there is a link to the roadmap. The expectation is, so next week we will be providing the main features that will be released on the 1.10. Right now, everyone is focused on finishing, but everything is on green. So the status that are on green, they are just needing 1 or 2 PRs just to complete, and they are confident that will be resolved. So just to provide a summary, also we are on 1 week away for the feature freeze. It's just next Monday. So training operator is screen status, Carib is screen status, Kubeflow pipeline screen status, model registry is screen. The Spark operator is screen, but also we are waiting to confirm exactly the version and the part of the release as a whole. So Ricardo is working on that. The case serve is also green, and platform manifest, everything is green, and they will have a lot of work to do after the feature freeze. So notebooks. So notebooks is in red status. We are right now looking into what features will be included into the release. And it seemed what we heard was there will not be a whole new release included. The 2.0 will not be included, but some features. So we are waiting. Today is the deadline for the notebooks team to provide some updates, so to know what will be included as part of the release. Ricardo, I know you wanted to mention something here.
Yeah. With that, we need to discuss about 2 topics here. When we got the 1.9 release, we relied on the Kubeflow repository to get platform level releases for the other components. That's not only notebooks. Just for a bit of context, Kubeflow repo is now the home of the notebooks working group, as well as some platform level components like profile controller, central dashboard, and so on. And in 110 is not different. We're still relying on a single repo for all of these components. So I just wanted to talk with we need to talk later to the notebooks working group leads to see if we can get a release cut for RC0 in Kubeflow repo so we can get Kubeflow RC0. That's really important because we have, for example, one feature in Model Registry is the new UI, and that needs integration with central dashboard. So we need the Kubeflow repo release cut on time for feature freeze. The other thing we need to discuss is that one ongoing work with that we've been doing is that we want to split those repos into separate ones. I believe we have one for dashboard, the other for the platform components, I guess. I'll leave to Andrea and Julius to confirm that. But our agreement yesterday is that we're gonna cut RC0 release and then we'll start working on splitting the repos code right after RC0. I'll leave to Andrea and Julius to talk about this, but those are the crucial tasks that we need to do to have a healthy feature freeze for 110. So these are my ongoing topics for 110 until feature freeze. I think that's it. If Valentina had other things to say, I don't know. But yeah, I'll leave the floor open for any questions and comments.
Let's definitely talk about that, but we'll wait for everyone else to talk about because the splitting of the repo stuff. I only just got back from holiday, and I don't know if anyone's actually done any progress on that. So it might be also cutting a release candidate on the main repo and then trying to change the whole release process does seem a bit unwise. But yes.
I lost that last part. Are you talking about
Like if we
cutting?
cut a release candidate from one repo and then again, from a logistical perspective, I doubt it will happen anyway. But even if we could, it introduces possible changes from the other release candidates. Well, I haven't responded to the repo splitting discussion yet, but I wasn't part of it, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a problem with my headphones here.
Okay.
Can you?
All I'm saying is
Yeah.
like it's usually best to try and have your release candidates be consistent. Of course, if we have people who are capable and from a permission perspective and willing to help the migration, I mean maybe, but I think it might be best if we focus on trying to close out PRs that are raised on the main repo and then just I know I said this last time, but it's because I was anticipating we wouldn't have time to do it. But splitting the repo will take time in itself. Maybe we should use that time to work on the release instead.
So I think we're already waiting for 1 year. I mean, from
Yeah,
my
I know.
perspective, we should delegate it to Julius, and Julius should have a final vote here. And if he wants to do it, he can do it next week after the RC0.
I don't know what you mean by just do it because like there is an insane amount of work there, and I don't want to put that on one person. And it's also like it introduces a lot of risk. Like we can cut releases from the Kubeflow repo. I know that you don't like that, and we will change that. But like the 1.10 release, if you want to make sure it actually gets released, it's probably best
So
to
I
just
think
cut
from
that
my perspective, I mean, unless other, like committee members have a, strong opposition on this, but I mean, I think, Julius should just make a statement because he kind of volunteered to maintain those dashboard components. And if Julius just wants to do it after RC0, he can just do it and,
I mean,
ask
that's not how that works,
contributors to
though.
migrate PRs. Yeah,
The
but I
notebooks
mean,
working
Matthew,
group-
like what other options do we have?
Well, like first off, as the current maintainer of those components, like they're maintained mostly. Like, which parts aren't maintained?
Yeah, but from my, I mean, it looks like they're not maintained because for 1 year we cannot resolve this simple issue.
Well, it's not a simple issue. Moving repos and splitting things up takes time, and also over the past month, everyone's been on holiday anyway, so like nothing would have expected to be happened over the last month. I did ask Kimonos to look at moving the dashboard components because they're probably most simple to move. The notebooks would be a lot more work.
Yeah,
Again,
Matthew,
I think yeah. Go ahead, Julius.
I would only consider dashboard, and also there I won't be able to do it alone, I assume, just because of the workload. But it's probably after the RC, I will hopefully have some time to look into the migration path. For example, you will probably have some requirements, as for example, some of keeping the Git history and so on. And at least I will start to check, hey, how can I do the migration? Who can help? Maybe start a PR.
Yeah, so what we agreed on last time, or at least, so again, if Kimonos isn't capable to do it at the moment, what happened? That's weird. If Kimonos isn't able to do it, I'm happy to help you, just point you to what I was telling him needed to be done. But it's pretty straightforward. The first thing we need to do is go through any PRs that are pending on it, and most of them are pretty simple these days. Some of them are not. We went through most of the basic ones and closed them before the break. Then we need to, again, I think we should be doing the 1.10 release from the original repo, just because we're to be able to cut a 1.10 release candidate, we'll need to make a branch, and that's fine. And then...
So I think, Matthew, from my perspective, it's just overcomplicated process. I think we should just, delegate it to Julius and do like what, he wants to do. Because I guess like the problem is like those components staying unmaintained. We couldn't move forward.
Which
and
parts
I just
are
don't want
maintained?
to get
From an actual code perspective, they are definitely maintained.
I mean, I don't want to speak about it right now, but I mean, from my perspective, these components just stay unmaintained right now.
I mean, they're working. They've been updated in the last few months, most of them. I know that there is issues that we would like more contributors, and that's not going to change whether or not it's in one repo or another. But we are actively working on them. And also, the bigger problem here is not that, though. Like, just moving repos around, while it will help the confusion issues you suggest, that does take work. And just saying, let's let Julius do it, yeah, I mean, he can help, absolutely. But it requires a lot of work.
So, guys, that's a good discussion.
Yeah.
But what we need at this moment is just a clear statement that if we can count on having Kubeflow repo having the release cut on time for feature freeze, otherwise we need to plan for another release candidates to include this repo.
I mean, I can easily cut a release. If you want to, is there any PRs that you need to be in for your release?
Yes, I need to talk to Lucas, who is the UI lead for Model Registry. I believe he's going to create a PR today to add the central dashboard integration with Model Registry. When I have this PR link, I'll share with you. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, I've got, like, again, it's cutting, but this is what I was saying, Andre, to make that cut, I'll have to make a 1.10 branch. And at that point, we might as well just do the release out of that branch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand like why we cannot create another release 1.10 branch in the dashboard repo.
I mean, you could, if we happen to get that done in the week or two that we have for that cut, sure. But like, if we just want to guarantee that we get the release out, which is what I've been saying this entire time, let's just do it out of the Kubeflow branch. And now that we have Julius who wants to help, then the 1.11 one can be out of the new dashboard repo.
I mean, we say the same. It doesn't matter. Like last release.
Well, we didn't have Julius.
I think we do. I mean, from my perspective, we had this agreement before. I mean, do we have any other points from the community members, like what we should do, with this, and just like any suggestions?
There's no we have a release
right now
process.
And right now we can just move forward with Kubeflow, and hopefully more volunteers can start the migration after the release branch is cut. And I also have to say, I only have 10 minutes left in the call. So if you want to talk about the election results, just that you're aware of this.
Yeah, so Julius, I'm happy to support you in doing that. Again, to make sure that 1.10 gets released, I will cut the release from the Kubeflow. I have no intention of cutting any releases from any new repos for the components which the Notebooks Working Group maintains. So, okay. If Kimonos wants to work with Julius, I'll help him do that as well, but I haven't seen him around recently, so I don't think that will happen. If Julius wants to formally join the Notebooks Working Group, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, I will try to reach out to Kimonos privately and see whether I can get him to work on this again. That's right.
Right.
But yeah,
That's great news, guys. Thank you for the help, and let's sync up together, Matthew, about the PR required to add model registry UI to central dashboard. I'll let you know when it gets created.
or any other ones that you think are important,
Yeah, that's right.
including for notebooks as well. If you have specific ones that you would like.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's another topic I need to discuss. I'll sync up with Heather as well, because I know he's helping me on that. Just don't know if he's only working on Notebooks 2.0 or if he's working on other.
It's mostly
other
2.0.
versions.
It's mostly 2.0.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, anyways, I'll sync up with him to see if there's something important to get into Kubeflow on time for feature freeze.
Cool. Probably the only PR that I'll do there for notebooks is I do a version update of all the the data science packages. I'll probably do that, but for the notebook
Awesome.
images.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you. This
So I
is
guess that's
just
it.
what is next, yeah, for the release, the next activities. And yeah, I think that's all. Ricardo, do you have anything else you want to add here?
No, nothing's coming here. I believe with that last discussion, I believe we can stick to that plan and wait for users to start testing and run our own testing as well. And yeah, there's another topic I need to sync up with you, Valentina, is about the distributions. Probably I'll need Josh's help on that, just to formalize the other distributions that will be present to the distribution testing phase.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, anything else on the release that we want to discuss? It seems as though some of these topics we may want to pursue in either platform or the notebooks or the release working groups and try to provide status as much as possible in this meeting. But I definitely appreciate how all of these major changes impact the entire community, and everybody should see and have visibility. I'm glad to see that we're getting to a place where these items can be resolved, and they also fit well into the release management. I know it's not easy, and I appreciate everybody's help.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on, unless there's any final closing comments, anything else on the release that any user, anything else, Valentina, Ricardo?
I'm good on my end.
Yeah, I'm
All
good.
right,
Thank you.
Let's move on to the election results, since Julius has only a certain time left. Amber, do you want to work on that?
Yeah, so first of all, we need to welcome Julius and Francisco as our new KSC members. And I also want to take the time to not only welcome them, but to thank Matthew for also running for that time and that commitment that he was willing to do. Josh, we need to thank you and James Wu for your time on not only this current KSC or the former KSC, but on the interim committee and the time before that. So thank you for your leadership and being able to help guide the community to where we are today. We appreciate that as well. Many thanks to Valentina and Mielers for shadowing. That way, I kind of took really detailed notes so I can put up put up how to do that going forward in the future. And then a statistic, we had, I think 58 out of the 68 or so eligible voters, 58 were given keys. There were still a few that I just didn't respond to the GitHub issues. And out of that, we had 71% for everyone who was sent keys, 71% voted, which is very high. Most elections only get around 50% in these things, but we're averaging about 70% with our elections, which is really good. And so again, Julius or Francisco, if you guys want to say a few words, Josh, you or James, if you're on the call, if you want to say a few words, but thanks everybody who helped. And what I'll be doing this week is sending a new timeline for the elections at the end of this year to the new KSC to approve, so we can publish that early and people will have a goal to work towards. And we'll make sure that process is known a little bit more widely and a little bit earlier. So thanks everybody who participated and who voted and who ran.
Congrats,
Yeah, thanks.
Francisco and Julius.
Yeah, thank you for the trust put into us. And I, and probably Francisco as well, we hope to live up to your expectations.
Congratulations. And I guess, does anyone else want to say anything?
Well,
Is Francisco in the call?
yeah, from James and my perspective, at least I'll speak on for myself. I think it's important that we have these transitions and they run smoothly. I totally believe in the culture that the Google people laid down so broadly for us to follow. And I do believe that appropriate culture helps to motivate the volunteers. And so, as we all work together going forward, I look at the rules that the KFC have, kind of put into place and the transition that will happen again next year. And I really look forward to the fact that everyone who loves Kubeflow, so to speak, has their chance to kind of put their handprint on the KFC and kind of help guide the community. And that includes, as we go forward, this meeting and other meetings. I know, Amber, we have a lot of other meetings that we're setting up, but I want to make sure that, just as I learned from the Google folks about how to kind of let other people take over, I want that to happen this year in 2025 and into 2026. So, all the folks that are in either supporting or leadership roles, please think about how the community grows over the next few years and how that culture and relationships work. Okay. Anything else from the KFC members? Anything else from anyone else on this?
Just to clarify, it takes effect immediately? Amber, do we know? So these people are the current KSC now?
Yes, so there'll be what was it, Josh? was it a month last time? There'll be an overlap where the new KSC joins the current KSC, and then they have the transfer of knowledge, and then, you know, Josh and James will no longer be KSC members, and the new ones will be on there. So there'll be a little bit of overlap where there's actually 7 people, but you know, there'll be that transition.
I expect a peaceful transition of power.
No riots. Also, I'm pretty sure that from a voting perspective, only the new members would have votes, though.
Yeah, and however, yeah, the new people vote now. Yeah, they have all the rights and everything. We're just advisors at this point. So
Also, we do have a bunch of permissions we may need to clean up then. I mean, obviously the people who are previously there still are leads, but there was a period where just because we didn't have owners for a lot of repos, that we made all the KSC members owners. I think a lot of those repos have been assigned proper owners now, so we maybe don't need those anymore and stuff, but just I guess we need to figure out what to do with specifically like the website and the other repos, because just because someone's on the KSC doesn't mean they need write access to everything. Of course, they already get write access through the GitHub permission, but not through the owner's approval process necessarily.
Yeah, the website one, I've already got an email drafted to send to the KSC about that one. But I don't have an opinion on the other ones right now. But the website one I will be, and I'll include you on that email as well, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, that one we should probably just have a website working group or something, but that's a separate discussion.
Yeah, that's going to move under marketing and outreach, and Valentina's going to lead that effort. And yeah, so we need to get her added to that, so she doesn't always have to hunt people down.
I mean, the root there is something to be said about like root approving on that one is quite like sometimes it's good to have people approve that one. Maybe we can probably fix the main issue that we have, which is that the redirects can't be done without root approver.
Exactly.
Like I can probably fix that without needing to, you know, technically.
But Valentina has stepped up to lead those efforts, and I think that, you know, when people do that and has a proven track record over the last 3 months of really working on that, we need a process. And so in lieu of a process, I'm suggesting that Valentina be added.
I mean, yeah, that's something we can discuss, yeah. But also I just realized a solution to that problem is to just make the file under one of the content folders and then put the main redirect file as a system symbolic link to the other one.
Yeah, we can dive into the details, you know, but because we only have like 30 minutes left. But yeah, but I'll send that email out and I'll share it with everybody. Oh, the KSC and you, Matthew.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm not necessarily in power there. I don't have any power right now. I'm just the person who often maintains a lot of it.
Okay. We have other topics to potentially cover here. Amber, since we're still with you, I know there were a series of meetings. Are those meetings set up for this week? And do you want to give an update on any of those?
Yes, so we did have a meeting yesterday for the governance, and I'll share that out on Kubeflow, discuss and announce and outreach so that people can see. We went through the checklist. Even though it looks like on the issue on GitHub, there's 7 things. Well, that second item of getting our basic badge is incredibly tedious with a whole lot of work. So we'll need some people on that. But we did have the overview meeting this morning. I put the outreach and marketing meeting on. It's still new, so people are still adjusting and couldn't make it. Anesh made it, but and it was just an overview meeting, and I'll share that out with Kubeflow Discuss so people can see the marketing plan and where we're going. What I would ask is when people when you think about being part of that, do you want to be more on the community side and think of community as empowering folks to join, and how do we get them involved, and what are processes that we need to document, all those kind of things. And on the marketing side, think about product marketing. If you're good with product marketing and you're good with you know, building that brand and all of that, think about doing the marketing side of it. There's overlap, but there is two distinct lanes. And so what I'm hoping to do is people will pick which lane and then pick a subtopic underneath there so they can lead those efforts, because that's going to help get your contributions and get your everything in order to vote and do other things that require, you know, 50 contributions or more. So this is more than just growing the community and getting, you know, people involved. The idea is to raise awareness. Awareness drives involvement, and then that engagement. Awareness drives engagement, and engagement then drives contribution. So keeping that in mind on both the outreach and the marketing fronts, we'll go for that. So I also have been looking into the problem about when people join the mailing list, they're not getting the calendar invites. I didn't put them on the community calendar yet, but I will go ahead, and then I'll also send out instructions on how to, even though it's on the website, I'll send out instructions on how to add that manually to your calendars until we can get that other issue fixed. But yeah, everything, we won't have the office hours tomorrow because unfortunately I've got to make a drive tomorrow, but we'll pick that one up next week. So the invites have been sent. I've published it to the groups, but I'll resend out everything again today with notes from the meetings that were held.
All right, that's great. And so there'll be the same meetings next week, correct?
Correct. And that way, if people can't join, like I know one person told me they have a bi-weekly meeting, they can't join that's fine. Join when you can. There's no, hard and set thing that says, oh, you have to join every single meeting. It's just a lot that we need to go over on both fronts, and to only have like a bi-weekly or a monthly meeting, we won't get through everything. So we'll start breaking it down and get, as many people who want to join on their schedule. If only one meeting per month works for somebody, that's fine too. We can work with it. So they're just there, they're placeholders. I'll be on the calls, but if I'll be working on something while I'm on the calls. If nobody else is, you can drop in. So as we get more accustomed and build that muscle memory for these meetings, we'll get more people involved and really start working on that. But Milos and Tariq have volunteered to help with that badge checklist. So they're researching that, and they'll come back next week and we'll discuss it on Monday. So if you're interested, let me know so I can manually add you to everything as well.
So can we start to promote those meetings and their links, or are they on the calendar already? Can we start to keep those?
Yeah, I'll need to do the PR and then we can promote. So.
Well, even if there's links or something, we can put it into this meeting.
Yep.
So people can find them and keep going from there. All right, let's
I'll add them.
anything else before we move on to the next topic? We have a couple more things to hit. Amber, anything else from you?
No, not at all. I just appreciate everybody who's showing an interest in getting involved. It's exciting.
Ricardo, I've created an issue for the 1.10 release on the Kubeflow repo that we can discuss the things that you need on it. And I've moved all the issues that were planned but never got really done from 1.9 in there, but I've put them under a separate section. I'll just link that in the chat right now. But we can start pruning through what's actually needed. So just comment on there if you have things you absolutely need.
All right, I'll watch that.
Cool.
All right, let's keep going on the Andre, you have this topic here. Shall we try to use LLMs to improve Kubeflow docs?
Yeah, it's maybe quickly. And I can also see like Shravan on the call from my team. Shravan, do you want to introduce yourself to the community? Just want to say hello.
Yeah, I hope everyone can hear me okay. Shravan. I'm a teammate of Andres, work with Apple. So I've been in and around the community, looking at some proposals and some PRs. So I'm looking more reactive involved. I think that's me. I've been in the industry for about 10 years now, and I'm looking to collaborate more and more with the Kubeflow community.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so we just had a quick conversation about like how we can improve our documentation, especially with the effort that Valentina and Ricardo and other folks, Halbert, have done recently. So one of the idea which probably we can do, I know there is some other open source projects which use LLMs for like doc summarization, and there are different opportunities like we have how we can improve like the user story. So the thing is like what I just want to hear what community think on these topics and what we can do relatively easy compared to, for example, like hosting an LLM, calling the like the open source API, which is free, probably like try to maybe see what other communities are doing in industry, right? For example, like even having an LLM which allows users to, like answer the questions, for example, where I can find the code for Kubeflow pipelines, or what, for example, like installation of Kubeflow pipelines exists, I think will be really valuable to see if we can somehow plug in those, capabilities on our website. Yeah, and of course, like in the future, we can think about how we can, like use LLMs to even improve our docs, right? I also think this is a good opportunity for, like for students to investigate as well, given that we want to participate in GSOC. Yeah, I just want to hear like, start this discussion to see if there are any ideas or suggestions what we can do there.
Andre, what compute are we looking at for running this?
Yeah, maybe we can, initially use just open source models, right? Like some models are free, right? Some models
No,
even like
not about the models. Like, do we have say enough CPUs, layover GPUs? I think we might not be able to get that. But again, at least CPUs, do we have a reserved? Which are you looking at some specific resources that we are having it?
Yeah, I think resources got the next step. You mean like, sorting the model by ourselves, right? And, like
Right,
using this.
right.
Yeah, this could be more like kind of complex. I just like, first of all, I think I want to research what other, communities are doing, right?
The only people I've seen successfully do it, and I don't necessarily know if we should do this, is they've partnered with commercial companies that do this as their product.
Correct. There are few providers who actually do that. Yeah, from the docs, they can they basically provide LLM as a service. But again, for us, it's a very bad idea if you are going with the third party provider.
Yeah, there's also just the concern of like these LLMs are going to keep getting better and probably faster than we can manage them. And people will be able to do those things on our docs as long as we make our docs in a way that is accessible to those LLMs. But also, because otherwise, if we have an official thing and it says something wrong, it could be misleading to users, especially because of the kind of transient and flux nature of a lot of Kubeflow, where things move around and is quite complex. So the trained data might be wrong. But
yeah, without the appropriate context and, like in RAC, we couldn't do this properly. I'm 100% sure. And I'm pretty sure like this will not be ideal if we just, use the open, like the models that they've been trained not on our data. Of course, like ideally, we should use our website data to train or fine tune those LLMs. That is why I think like again exploring different options for us maybe will be valuable, and do market research on like what other open source projects are doing. If there are any kind of good examples without really like company stands behind the open source project to see what we can do there. Maybe start a collaboration with other communities. Because we provide an infra, right, for those LLMs to be served and to be trained or fine-tuned, right? So I guess like the both parties could win. Yeah, go Sean.
Sorry, Gaurav. So I was curious if it's possible for us to not host a model. Is the concern that most models are paid and some kind of a cost situation will come into, or whether I was thinking more on just adding value on how to search docs effectively. Like one of the reasons that I think one of the things that was brought up was it moves fast. So I think that's precisely the reason why we want LLM to keep up with it. So I feel like maybe we can get away with not hosting the model. Maybe that'll be a huge value.
Like
Uh,
maybe even something simpler could be a first step, like just having an AI page summary that is reviewed by a human at the top of every page. Like, they do for, like in, not, they don't do it automatic. They do it automatically, but like Amazon does review summaries,
uh-huh.
Maybe that's a first step. Because I'm just worried that anything else, because then we can just run the model however we like, we could run through the ChatGPT API even.
Right. Yeah. So, right. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, like I haven't seen a well-defined like a RAG system outside of commercial products. Like even if the models aren't up to date, I was curious if a series of the small steps and like feeding documents incrementally is going to help us give the same kind of value. So yeah, not sure. Like worth exploring, I think.
Andre, can you clarify what your actual goal is here? Like, is there a customer goal? If you're not customer, but a user goal?
I think the goal again would be to like make our documentation better, and like help at the same time. I mean, of course, ideally they should use the Kubeflow components to train and serve those models, right? And we should use our like infrastructure to be able to provide those capabilities, because then I guess like both parties will benefit. But the end users actually will see the value, I guess, with this summarization, at least, like as you mentioned, right?
Andre,
Yeah.
we've had a couple companies who specialize in data storage manipulation. Some are database companies, some are just the data layer companies who've been interested in hosting those models and everything for us. They were just waiting on us to have a need for it. So maybe I can put you guys in touch with those folks and y'all can see if they can actually help your efforts on what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think having the interest party would be really great to start with, right? And again, having like initially having something very, very simple, I think will be also beneficial for the end users, right? So we don't want to, like delegate the entire, documentation writing to the LLMs, right? First of all, we just speak about something simple, right?
I've seen, I don't remember exactly, in certain open source projects, in their website, on the right side, there's a pop-up where you can type questions and you get very, very accurate results. So I've seen that. So I don't know whether they have deployed something commercially, like they bought something from external. I am not sure. I can check that out. I forgot which one, but it's an open source project.
Yeah, I think it's called Run LLM. Like, for example, the VLLM open source, they use that as well. So on the website, on the right, there is this, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that is true.
I think it's a very interesting idea, and I think it's worth it to do like a proof of concept. And it's, as you said, is a student can do it as well. Then interrupt, the ones that we are working on maintaining the website. I think it will be very, very useful.
I think one more point I think on that. I think in this discussion alone, there are a couple of more use cases that was what originally was proposed. So I feel like maybe we should also gather some list of use cases that will be benefited by using LLMs. Like if I understood correctly, there was a need to kind of review the code as well, as opposed to just searching through the docs. Both are kind of valid. I feel like maybe if we could kind
It's
of
an
use the
open
use
source.
cases also. Yeah.
I'm strongly opposed to that. But like, if it's an open source project, if you want to run your own models against the code, that is something you're free to do. It's an open source project, raise PRs. Usually when you do stuff like automatic code review, you just get trash out though. Like in my experience, it suggests stupid things or it doesn't understand the context because these models aren't actually programmers yet. Like
Right.
they're not actually intelligent yet.
Right.
I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
the best use of anyone's time is probably going to be in actually contributing to the code base rather than building such systems. But if there in the future happens to be models that are smart enough to actually help, I think the CNCF already has partnerships with some of those companies. So from like
I see.
security scanning. So we could use those maybe. I think, Andre, if you correct me if I'm wrong, I think CNCF has like a security scanning company that they work with now.
Yeah, probably. I'm not aware of this. I haven't been explored. I think again, like the point is here, like, yes, they may be not ideal, but like to see how we can benefit from those capabilities would be useful. This is why I want to start with docs, right? Because this is like the simple first step we can do. And like even what the VLM has, and I just checked it, Tarek, thanks for letting us know. I think like you can ask the question how to run VLM on Kubernetes, and it actually can properly answer you this, right? So having just a small chat within Kubeflow website would be really great to have from my perspective. Of course, like ideally you should know the context, but then we need to have fine-tuned model. And I know some companies also offer this, right? So we can, put a lot of context there, like entire maybe documentation, markdown files, right? And then we have our own Kubeflow LLM, which knows everything about our ecosystem. Could be one of the ideas, right?
I just feel like the industry is going to be completely different 1 year from now. And if the models are smart enough to be useful in this context, it's likely that users will just have their own one. And we just need to make sure the content is accessible to their LLM.
No, but I mean, like, not all of the users know how to run LLM locally, right? And feed, they fine tune them, right?
But I mean, like as a service, I'm preempting more that it's if they actually get really smart, people. I mean, let's just investigate it. I think we should just investigate what's happening and make sure that we don't try and commit to anything that takes us heaps of time and money. But the main goal should be make the experience better for users of the platform. That's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, that is why I think, like, I suggest to maybe have few students or few new contributors to start working on this, right? And give us some options. Just like an idea, right? Anyway, any other comments, questions from community? Then Josh, you can go ahead. The next topic.
Okay, website updates. Who is this, Valentina?
Yes, yeah, I need to share my screen.
Okay.
I have some slides that I want to show.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we discussed it in the previous meetings how we can have a space to discuss the website current state, and the idea is to go over the work that has been done. Really, this is just getting started, so yeah, my idea is every week to present new information and updates. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. So first is so the PR's review. This is, let me do this so looks better. So this is a PR's comparison on the work that has done over December. We discussed it. There were like almost 80 PRs open, and there was a huge amount of effort on reviewing, and thanks everyone who contributed to this. And then it was less than 19. So right now, I did an analysis as well. So right now, I think we have 22, 23 of these PRs. There is still 30% of those PRs who are waiting. So those PRs are PRs that have been created like years ago. They're still needed. I reached out a couple of months ago and haven't heard back. So I will send another note this week. And if nothing happens, then we will start assigning that work that needs to be done to the members of the community who are willing to contribute. I know, sometimes a lot can happen between a couple of years, so we understand. So those are the PRs updates, but also we started looking at the issues overview. So the last time we said we have almost 125 issues opened on the website. So I worked on the last weeks to start reviewing those issues and reviewed around almost 60 issues. And right now we have 92, I think, I'm trying to remember the exact numbers, but open. So a lot, so what happened with the other ones? So the current status is we still have the 38% to be reviewed of these issues to see the status, if they are needed, not longer needed, if they are assigned or not assigned. So the other thing that happened was where people were working on some of the issues and these issues weren't assigned to that person. Or in other cases, they weren't assigned to anyone. People offered, but there was not reply. So I assigned those or requested help. So we increased the assigning around like 50% rate. The other ones, there are a few that are waiting for the community. So people, as I said, offer to help or had additional questions. So we are waiting on them. There are around 10 issues that require further review and discussion. So these are the green ones. And then these are the ones that are closed right now, so 30%. Some of them were already fixed, but they were not correctly linked to the PR. Other ones are not longer needed. And other ones, a few of them were just closed because people work on the PRs and it was merged. So, so yeah, this is the current status of the issues that are right now. So I just wanted to provide this to the community. And my idea with this is to let you know, for those who created these issues and maybe were waiting, that we are actively working on doing some cleanup and keeping things up to date. So if you think that there is an issue that is important or you haven't heard yet, as we are going through all those 100 issues, please reach out. The other thing, when we discussed it last week, they were not good first issues to get started. So right now there are not many, but we do have some. So as you can see here, there are good first issues, and also there are other ones that are requesting help. So if you are already getting started, you are more advanced, you understand how the website works, or you are skilled with the components and you want to work on other documentation, you can do that. There are issues there. So these are the issues assigned in comparison. So right now we do have more issues assigned as it was before, which is healthy. I think it's healthy to have, you know, issues assigned, people actively working on the PRs and all of that. So what's next? So it's really is there is a lot of work to be done still, and their website is critical, I think, for Kubeflow to have all the information accurate and updated. So so the goal is to continue reviewing the rest of the issues, but also keeping all the issues and PRs up to date. So for example, someone created an issue recently, I reply, and that person just fixed it the next day. It was amazing. It was really quick. But this is, you know, is our project. So please help. I'm asking everyone to contribute. If you have the time, please reach out and look at any open issues or PRs that need approval. Also, I know Andre and others are looking help to contribute to the release documentation, specifically on working on creating content. I know Ricardo will be working more on the publishing side, but if you want to contribute or just review some documentation, please do. There is another effort also on improving the technical documentation, and that is just reviewing what's there, and you know, first start trying to install the components, see if you find any issue. But the other thing is everything clear to you? Because if you find that it's not clear to you, it's maybe not clear to other ones, or it's something that you think is missing. So so that's the other thing. Please, if you find something, just create an issue and reach out. The other thing that we talked in the past is all the how to manage this scale. We cannot continue looking into everything that is there. So we do need the mechanism to steal PRs and issues. So so I do have that assigned to me. I just need to work on that. And with that, if you're wondering, if you're new on how to start contributing, so we do have two great links. One is about our community on the website, and the other one is how to start contributing. So just wanted to share this with all of you, and that's all I have. Any questions or comments?
Wow, fantastic. I think this is, you know, worthy of a blog post or at least a major mention in the upcoming release update. It may be something that we need to try to address, as, you know, this has been a major factor for users. And I want to make sure that they understand that we and you have heard them, and you've made great strides to address, you know, their concerns. And I'm hoping that we can see an uptick in interest and usage because of this. So that really is the goal of this, is to make the community more easily usable. We're at time.
Thank you.
Valentina, is there, you said that you'll do these updates periodically. I know it takes some time to do that, but you know, I think it's very valuable to spend 5 minutes at least each meeting to kind of see where we're at with these. So whatever you can do to make this easy to give the update, even if there isn't, and you just tell us last week and, you know, just talk to it, that's fine. But whatever you can do to keep a spotlight on this, I think you'll get more people, just like Matthew has done a great job. Matthew, I think when you were promoting the notebooks working group in our meetings on a regular basis, we started to see quite a few people show up at the notebooks working group, right? I mean, you got 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, we've got a lot of regular contributors now. Hopefully they all stay through the new year. But yes, we'll see.
Right. When is the next notebooks working group meeting, by the way?
Let me just, it is this week. Yes, this Thursday, the 16th, at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And so probably we'll use that to catch up, because most of us have been away on holiday or taking a break. So hopefully we can, there's definitely been work going on in the Notebooks 2.0 UI though, that I've been seeing. But that's pretty cool. Anyway, thanks to people who are working on that. So if you want to contribute, or you are already contributing, let's try and go to that meeting. Notebooks 2.0.
Will there be a UI review of the 2.0 at point?
Yeah, so as soon as we've got something that's almost ready, like that's end-to-end usable, even if it's not polished, I definitely will demo it, because I want people to see it. It'll make a lot more sense once people have got the visual aspect, I think. So yeah, but there's that might be a little bit of time away, especially with the 1.10 release. It's not going to be part of 1.10 for everyone, to be very clear. But we probably will release it between the 1.10 and 1.11 release as an alpha or something.
So just from a timing perspective, you know, I think the Kubeflow Summit in London is April. Is that right, Amber? Anyway, just keep that in the back of your mind.
Yes, it is.
That might be something that's like, what's new in the community? Well, here's some more stuff that's coming besides 110. You know, it just builds on that momentum that we're continuing to make progress, right?
Yeah, and we have I don't know if we've gotten the word yet, but we should have a talk on the maintainers track as well, where we can mention some of this too. So
Okay, well, look, I thought last week we had a very good kind of discussion. I'd like to tee up some more of those type of topics. I think going towards, you know, can we use LLMs for our documentation was a good decision or kind of topic. You know, if we look at the pie graph, I like Valentina showing us pie graphs of the time that we spend in these communities calls. I'd like to make, if possible, that the percentage of the pie bigger on topics that are, I don't know what the exact words are, but kind of more like those two, the last ones that I just mentioned. And so we need people to promote or think about topics that we can have. I also, we talked about having alternate hosts for this meeting. I really do believe that it'll add enthusiasm and better content to have other folks besides me support this. So anybody that wants to start to take over either bi-weekly or this meeting completely, let me know. And I'm glad to always host it. But again, I would like to see that we get maybe some different and more energy. That's it for today. Any final comments from anyone?
Just maybe
All right.
one thing before we drop. I would really love for someone to take a look on the Kubeflow training V2 documentation, because it's a significant update for the entire docs for Kubeflow training. So if anyone can volunteer and help us to review this, would be great.
And Andre, can you just reiterate where they would find that? Is that all in the training working group repo, or where should they go?
The docs lives on the Kubeflow website today, and I linked the PR that I created yesterday. So just please take a look if you want to help with documentation.
How are you structuring it? Are you making a new section?
Yeah, we move all the docs to legacy similar to KFP and have a completely new docs under the Kubeflow website.
Maybe are you just gonna make like a new path on the URL, like, because the way we should have done it for pipelines was just leave the existing ones in place and then make a -v2 so that then there's no redirecting weirdness.
I actually make the redirect to legacy v1, all of the docs.
Because that makes it almost impossible to actually do that. Because like when we start progressing the structure of the v2 docs, because they'll become the main docs, but if we use the same path as we were previously using, we could end up overlapping with the old ones, or the redirects may just end up in this weird situation. The way we should have done it from the old one is just leave it as, it depends on how you want to structure it. But like because the problem, let me just look at your PR.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we will redirect all of the, all of the links to just the v2 docs, and that's it. And we will remove the v1 in 1 year probably.
Yeah, I mean, because the user doesn't really see the -v2 in their URL. I just think we should. Where's this PR? I'm trying to find it.
I link in the community notes.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we can probably talk about this after the meeting. Anyone else got anything they wanna?
Yeah, if you have suggestions, let us know. Yeah, go ahead, Ramesh, with the GSOC.
No, not GSOC one. And I think I have two questions about that. Is there any objections for us to be participating in GSOC 2025? Because the organization application starts in, I think, next week, the end of this week. So this would be the time we need to decide if we don't want to participate. Otherwise, we should be looking into submitting an application in there. The second question I have is there any other volunteers who wants to do this? If you want, I can be the shadow and teach you guys what I did. Otherwise, I'll continue. Go ahead and put a community Jira to at least start gathering the project ideas as we did last year.
I think we should move forward. I think for the volunteer, definitely reach out to maybe Amber, you can help us, or maybe send a message to Kubeflow announcement somewhere. I think from the training perspective, we see a lot of engagement right now because many students think that we will participate as part of CNCF GSOC. So we saw around 6 to 8 people who already reach out to maintainers to start contributing. So I think, yes, we should do it from my perspective. And Ramesh, if you want to delegate, maybe we can, ask Slack or Kubeflow Discuss Google group.
Ramesh, if you'll give me the blurb and where people need to go, Like, do they need to sign up for a Google form? Do they need to go to a Slack? If you'll give me all that information, I'll put it out in Announce and LinkedIn and Blue Sky and X and all of that for you. I just need the blurb and where we need to send people to.
So there are two aspects of it. I think the what you are asking, Amber, was the second one. Once students start coming in, where do we send them? The very first one is, like the GSOC management itself, right? As an organization, like I was in the back end, taking the looking at the application, coordinating with the mentors and the mentees and mentors, and there is some administrative work. If somebody else wants to do that, what I did last year, you're free to, take that role. I want to make sure that, I give the opportunity to the community. If somebody wants to learn some leadership skills in terms of that, it is an opportunity that for anybody. If you want to do that, you are welcome to do that, and I can help you with them on that.
Yeah, I can put that out for you too. So
Okay.
so both
All right.
aspects of it. So if you give me the blurbs for both of those pieces, the
Sure.
one you're talking about, I can promote that too. So
Okay.
sorry, I wasn't clear. I meant
Yeah, no, that's fine. That works. Yeah, that would work. Then we'll kickstart then in that case. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. That's all I have.
And just in case no one's told you, Ramesh, thank you for doing all that. That's a lot of work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and actually before it drops, sorry, I know we're 10 minutes over time, but Ramesh, we already have a student who actually presented the talk on the KubeCon India, which I think, we also have, a few maintainers who are actively working with us. And we have one member who actually wants to become a mentee this year. So I think this is like, the greatest opportunity for our community to grow. So, strongly, I think we definitely should go ahead because the progress was amazing, last year.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think we should capture these success stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Somehow.
Some blogs and stuff, and because a lot of people are looking at it, and this is how we will attract. Hopefully, we could probably even cut it through as a CNCF angle too. Now that our integration is a lot more closer with CNCF from last year, so we'll get more visibility. That means last year itself we had like a 250 students, at least pinging us. So it is anything, we probably exceed that. So it's going to be a lot of interest. So let's put together a good list of project ideas from the mentors, and I'm going to be looking for the mentors too again. For that.
Like maybe we should, like, I'm already getting spammed by quite a few students who want to be in the program for this year. Is there any chance we should probably try and get a web page up, even just with a mailing list? Like, even if it's just like, hey, for more information, once we're ready to tell more, this is where it will be, and join this Google group so that we can spam you, or join this Slack channel or something. Just so that, because otherwise they reach out directly and it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, I'll start on that, man.
So yeah, maybe even just maybe we
I'll
create a Slack
ping
channel.
you on that PR. Once I'll put together a PR and I'll ping you on it. Maybe you can prove it.
Yeah, and the problem is where do we highlight that it exists? Because we can't really replace the Kubeflow Summit one. When is the GSOC period?
I mean, the organizations are starting January. January 27th is when the applications for the organizations start. I think contributors somewhere in February. End of February is when students come in.
Okay, so we're gonna have
create a drop down.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe we maybe need to change the way the banner works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know how to visually do that without making it overwhelming, but yeah. Andre, stay around after the call because I'm just looking at the way you've done it, and I think you've broken some of the redirects, but we can just quickly talk about it after that on your training thing.
Yeah, sure.
It shouldn't take long. I just think we need to agree on which way around we're gonna do it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Josh, I think we can stop the call, right? if we finish with the talks with 15 minutes overtime.
Yeah, sure. That was a good 15 minutes. I'm glad we got those last topics in. Whoever manages the time management of this call does a bad job, but maybe we'll do we'll get better as we go. Anyway, I think all the topics were good today. But let's keep going and close this one out and get on to next week. A lot of calls still to go this week, right? So
I'm going to stop the recording. People can stay on if they like. Thanks.